This is another episode of me documenting the day-to-day process that I am taking to achieve long-term consistency in the financial markets. And today, if you look at the calendar, you can see that I did literally nothing. Now, why did I do literally nothing? Because I came to the market, I kid you not, I took a look at the market for less than a minute, not even a minute. Instantly, I looked at the chart and I knew this is not a trading day. And what do we have today? It's FOMC. So if you're a newer trader, you probably tried trading today and you probably hurt yourself. I'm working with a newer trader and I'm just trying to help him out, put him on the right path because it's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy helping. It just gives me fulfillment. But anyways, this kid, he's only been trading for maybe less than half a year. And Joseph, if you're watching this, you definitely hurt yourself today. It's not a day you should be trading. But I'm going to explain to you why. Because I've been in this situation before where I've just come to the market. It's not a day to trade. I trade, and what happens? I hurt myself. Now, you will find yourself stuck in that continuous cycle over and over and over again until you settle in on one model, one thing that you're looking for coming to the market at 9:30, and you know what makes a good trading day, and you know what makes a bad trading day. So if you look at my calendar right here, you can see on the 7th and the 8th, boom, boom. Guess what the market looks like on these days? Let's take a look. Pop this open real quick. All right, let's take a look at these conditions. Oh my God, that's ugly. Are you fucking kidding me? Did I actually trade that? No, you're lying. You're lying. Look at this shit. Okay. So you can see, it probably makes sense why I hurt myself trading this, right? It's sideways. It's literally sideways. It's not doing anything. All right, let's look at the day before that, right? This is the 8th. I also hurt myself on the 7th. Oh my God. Is it the same fucking thing? Shit conditions again. Literally sideways. No way. Wow. What a surprise. I'm telling you, folks, you got to know when to trade and when not to trade. And that's probably going to be the biggest constraint that holds back a lot of newer traders like myself, who have not been trading for over 3 years. I've only been trading for 2.5 years. I still have not found profitability, but I'm this close. I'm right there. I know I am. I know I'm well on my way. I'm finally getting to a point where it's like, okay, one model, one approach, one thing, that's it. Repeat that over and over and over again, okay? So you can see that this sideways, and this is also sideways. Now, let's take a look at the economic calendar and see what it looks like on those trading days. Let's go to that week, the 7th and the 8th. Oh, look. There's no news driver. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. We have 2 red folders on the entire week. No driver Monday. No driver Tuesday. There's no injection of volatility. If there's no injection of volatility, the market is not going to fucking move. It's just not. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you have these huge swings that come out of nowhere on Mondays with no news driver. Those moves are hard to catch. Monday, Tuesday, no news driver. Trading early on in the week is already hard enough because you don't have the rest of the weekly range behind you to get a good idea of how the rest of the range is going to paint like you do on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Monday and Tuesday, it's more of a guessing game because you don't have that information. Add on top of that, no injection of volatility, and what's going to happen? The market's going to do nothing. It's going to go sideways. So if there's nothing on the calendar, the market's not going to move. And if there's nothing on the calendar, but we have a high impact event like FOMC, NFP, CPI, PPI, PCE, GDP coming up, the market's not going to move and it's going to go sideways. So this video is more tailored towards not doing a daily recap, but just explaining to newer traders who may be watching my videos so I can help you guys out with my experience on how to avoid trading these days. And then what do we have today? Today was FOMC. So if you go to the market, what does it look like? It's sideways, absolutely sideways. And then it doesn't move until FOMC comes out, okay? So the market's not going to move until there's a reason for it to move, a reason for it to move. It's going to wait for that injection of volatility. It's going to wait for it at the right time, and then it's going to make a move on something. It's not going to move before then. If you've been trading this week, you know that the conditions were even slower on Tuesday and Monday, right? Today's Wednesday. Yep, we have an FOMC today. So one thing, oops, not that yet. Not yet. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So how did I know by literally taking one peek at the market and instantly knowing to not do anything? I opened it and I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no, this is not it. And I closed the charts and that's it. And then I kept working on whatever I was working on before then, which I'll show at the end of this video. How did I know that though? Because, and I already cleared my charts today, so there's nothing on them. Okay, first of all, what do we see in the overnight session? This is the 6 o'clock open, right? This is the start of the new day. Just mark it right there. What do we see in the overnight session? Lacks volatility, very slow, doesn't really go anywhere, basically formed a range, doesn't do anything, right? Asia session, lack of volatility. For the most part, it's overlap. We have a very small range of only 45 handles. London session, what do we see? Same thing, a lot of overlap, doesn't really go anywhere, doesn't really do anything, right? Let's mark the range of the London session as well. Let's see how much that is. 50 handles, that's it. Pre-market session, same thing. The entire session, the entire overnight session, all the way up until the open at 9:30, did nothing. It traded absolutely sideways. And where does 9:30 open? Is this 9:30? 9:30 opens in the middle of that range. So from what I've learned through backtesting, I figured this out in 1 month of backtesting, what the market looks like when it's going to be a bad trading day and what it looks like when it's going to be a good trading day. Bad trading days are going to lack volatility in the overnight session, exactly like this, look exactly like this. They're going to be small range, there's going to be a lot of overlap, and it's going to do nothing in the entire overnight session all the way up until the open. No overnight volatility, no pre-market volatility. The market doesn't do shit. 9:30 opens in the middle of that range. Do we open in the middle of that range? We open in the middle of the range. If this is the lowest low and this is the highest high before the market opened at 9:30, just make this bold and prominent so you can see 9:30 opens in the middle of the range. That's how I automatically know my model is not going to fucking set up today at all, and I'm going to walk away before the market even opens. It looks exactly like this every single time. The only reason that I know this is because I've done the work of backtesting, making note of every single day that I backtest with this process right here. I'm treating it as if it were an actual live trading session. Kind of. Not in its entirety. I'm not incorporating every detail in my journal that I would in a normal trading day, but just the basics, like what is my bias, what setup am I looking for, would I take it, and why. And then after the market, after that day closes, after I've backtested that day, then I'm doing the same review that I would normally do on a regular trading day, a live trading day, my approach versus what happened. Here's my approach, here's what actually happened, and here's what I learned from the day. So I'm doing a little daily process even on days that I've backtested. And then I'm tagging that day. What was my bias for the day? On this day, I was bearish and I was incorrect. And what setup did it present? So when I do this process and I find the days that offer no setup at all, I know those are my bad trading days. If my setup did not present itself, then I have to know exactly what the market looks like when my setup does not present itself. So I'm tagging that. At the end of the month, I'm doing literally a monthly review too. Did I delete the note? Let's see. I might have deleted the note. Oh no, here it is, okay. At the end of the backtested month, I'm doing a monthly review on that backtested month, and this is the process that made me find out exactly what the market looks like when my model is there and when I know I should be trading that day and when I should be risk on, and exactly what the market looks like when I should be risk off. It's this process right here, folks. What were the best trading days? Go back through the month, review every single day, mark what was each best trading day and why, what criteria did it present that day, what did it look like for every single good trading day, and then to do the same thing for every single bad trading day. And you're going to see the clear patterns and the clear difference between a good trading day and a bad trading day. If I just read these, overnight and pre-market volatility, overnight volatility, pre-market volatility, overnight volatility, pre-market range, no overnight volatility, but obvious overnight and pre-market liquidity, lack of overnight volatility, obvious liquidity, pre-market volatility, lack of overnight volatility, obvious overnight liquidity, pre-market leaves one side of the range. So I'm noting all the criteria that the market presents on those trading days in simple terms, just keeping it simple, real short and blunt. It should be like, this is what the market set up in that trading day. But look at this, read this. What were the worst trading days? NFP Wednesday, no overnight and pre-market volatility, no overnight and pre-market volatility, no overnight and pre-market volatility. Overnight and some pre-market volatility, no overnight volatility. Pre-market volatility leaves one side of the range, but it opens and immediately runs. No overnight and pre-market volatility. So right away, you can see what does a bad trading day look like. It's going to have no overnight and no pre-market volatility. And it's usually going to be on Monday, no news driver. Monday, no news driver. Monday, no news driver. You can see the patterns, correct? This is the extra work that you have to put in to understand the market and develop day selection. Because if you hurt yourself today, you lack a day selection. If you want to build day selection, do this process. Do this process of going back at the end of each trading month, even months that you've back tested, and make note of what were the good trading days, what were the bad trading days. Just list out simple criteria that day presented and what made that day a good trading day, and then list out simple criteria of what made that day a bad trading day. Compare the two, and you will arrive at a clear understanding of, okay, if the market does X, Y, and Z, it's probably going to be a good trading day. If it does this, this, and that, it's probably going to be a bad trading day. There you go. Now you have a baseline understanding of what the market looks like when you should put risk on and what it looks like when you should not put risk on. And that leads to day selection. So I'm taking this information and I'm defining my day selection protocols with that information. So here's the process that I've built out for myself, right? I want to know absolutely everything about my model, and I have an own page for day selection. So I'm answering all these questions. I want to know everything. I want to know exactly when I should be risk on and exactly when I should be risk off. When is the market easy? When is the market hard? Market conditions for my model. And this is how I did, when I did this approach, when I did this process, I arrived at this understanding and I was able to define market conditions for my model. Ideal market conditions for my model. It's going to set up. Present on days I can anticipate to be easy based on economic calendar, or it's in the latter half of the week. Good trading days, right? Overnight and or pre-market volatility. Obvious overnight and or pre-market volatility. One of these is supposed to be liquidity. There we go. Yep, it's that one. It's going to show a pre-market range. It's going to open at the high day or the low day. PDL or PDH could be taken the overnight, pre-market, or AM session. Unfavorable conditions for a model. It's not going to set up. Present on days I can anticipate to be challenging based on economic calendar or early half of the week. No overnight or pre-market volatility. Price opens in the middle of a range. Price opens and immediately leaves the range in favor of the draw. High impact driver shocks the market so much at once. Inside day. What happened today? We had no overnight pre-market volatility and price opened in the middle of the range. Boom. 2 boxes checked right there. I'm not doing shit. And I know this, boom, instantly looking at the market today. Can see it, boom, I'm done. I'm not touching that shit. There's no way. There's no fucking way. I know this is not going to be a good trading day because of the experience that I've developed through the repetition of doing these things, doing these processes each and every day, no matter if it's a live trading day or a back-tested day. I'm still doing these processes, which is why I'm able to learn and develop at such rapid pace. So if you do these processes, if you do these extra steps, which are not hard at all, extremely simple, you will build a better understanding of the market. You will be comfortable. You will grow more comfortable in what exactly it is that you're trying to do when you come to the market. Because it should just be one little thing that you're trying to do, and you're just trying to repeat that over and over and over again. It's the same process. And that's what I'm coming to right now. Now, I'm going to show the work that I put in today because the market did not show anything, and how I'm arriving at a deeper understanding of my model. So, you have to have systems for everything. For everything. For every aspect of your life, there should be a system. I have a daily routine that's a system. I have a daily morning routine that's a system. I have a night routine that's a system. I have work blocks that are a part of my daily routine system. Everything is systematic. Everything is systematic. You should wake up and know exactly what the fuck you're going to do to attack that day and conquer. Get out of here. Every day is systematic. Every day you should know exactly how the fuck you're going to attack that day. So this is what I'm trying to do with my backtesting right now. Because recently, the way that I was backtesting before started to lack meaningful results. It's the law of diminishing returns. Eventually your work, you're going to see less and less returns for the amount of input that you're putting into whatever system that you're using. So the current or the old backtesting system that I was using was lacking returns, law of diminishing return. So I started to hit a wall, and I knew that it was good for me to hit a wall, because once I hit a wall, what does that mean? It means I have to make a new system. That new system is going to be more efficient than the last. It's going to allow me to reach a new level of understanding about my trade model. And that all started with development, right? So I had a lot of work on here where I literally just, okay, whenever I start to hit a wall, all I do is I mind dump. I mind dump how I feel, the kind of, because you can feel that wall in your mind, right? You can feel that you're hitting a block, and the inputs that you're putting in right now, they're not allowing you to get through that block. So when I start reaching that point, I can feel that resistance, and I start to mind dump. Just everything, all my thoughts, I'm putting them down on paper, so I can get a good understanding of where I'm at and what I should probably do to get through the block and develop a new system. So you're going to feel a lot of entropy. Things are going to feel out of order as you mind dump and throw all your thoughts on paper. Everything's going to be out of order, but that disorder and that chaos is eventually going to birth your new system once you fix the disorder and the chaos. So in order to have a new system, you first have to break the old one, essentially, and have everything out of order, experience entropy, and then the fixing, the repairing of that builds the new system. I wish I had the work to show you. That would be a lot easier for me to explain, but I just start with a mind up. Like I'm just writing out boom, 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 boom. Like everything that I'm feeling about the lack of results that I'm seeing from the system, and then what I should probably do next. And eventually that births this, right? Where I'm getting very intentional with what I want to do. So I'm trying to develop the foundation of my understanding of what I'm going to do with my model. So I ask myself, what am I trying to do? Play in line with the higher time frame narrative to catch the real swing of the AM session 2 to 3 times a week. It's a swing model. It's heavily profile based and relies on the higher time frame narrative. So I ask myself, what is required from the market? I need overnight and pre-market volatility to afford range, and I need an obvious weekly, daily session liquidity. Price should trade to in alignment with the higher time frame narrative. And what is required of me? It requires critical thinking from me, a lot of patience, day selection, a lot of confidence in the draw, and a lot of confidence in the higher time frame narrative. So I knew that I was lacking or was experiencing diminishing returns from my current system because I wasn't learning, because I kept missing moves. If you watch my previous video, I keep missing moves, but I'm putting myself, or I'm getting put in the same circumstances and keep making the same mistakes. Therefore, my behavior is not changed. Therefore, I am not learning. So you got to ask yourself, how can I become more efficient? So these are just new processes that I'm testing out right now. But the thing is you can't have everything systematically in place and all planned out before you do it. You just got to fucking do it. Because like I say in all my other videos, you can't connect the dots moving forward. You only connect the dots looking backward. Mark Zuckerberg literally built Facebook with the principle of move fast and break stuff, which is what I was trying to explain earlier. Once you hit the wall in your mind, you're going to feel a lot of entropy, disorder, and chaos. That's when shit gets broken. And then you fix it. That's what leads to your new level, your new system that's way more efficient than the previous. So I'm explaining the concept of system buildings here, and you can see how I arrive at a new system. So I'm being very clear with what I'm trying to ask myself and figure out how I can become more efficient, and then just defining the problem, what I need to work on, right? And so immediately at once, I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm not trying to systematically plan everything out. I immediately begin attacking the problem. I immediately begin addressing the problem with action. So I'm putting in the work. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Now here is where I started this morning, and I started to get to a point where I was thinking too much. And I knew that I was thinking too much. I was like, fuck this. I'm thinking too much. And I just started. What did that lead to? It led to this, the optimal study system. This is everything that I need. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And I built all this today. And I did all this work today, starting from this morning, me going like here and be like, okay, bro, you're just thinking too much. Don't connect the dots moving forward. You connect them looking backwards. Move fast, break shit. That's how it works. And eventually I arrived at this. So hopefully that gives a little insight to how you can build systems. I got a lot of like shit that a lot of knowledge that I've just accumulated over the years. And I literally know that I think like somebody who makes $1 million fucking a month, but I'm not doing that yet. I'm putting in all this effort and it's yielding absolutely no results. That's just the hard part of the success curve, right? The hard part of the success curve is you show up consistently every single day. You get fucking shit on. You have nothing to show for it on the surface level. But you go to bed, you wake up, and you do that shit all over again with no change in enthusiasm. You get shit on. You go to bed with a fucking smile on your face. Know that you learned a lot that day. You get up and you do it all over again. That's how this shit works. And I've been doing this for over 2.5 years now, right? Still wake up the next day at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning, get up, do some fucking push-ups, and get to it. That's how this works, bro. That's how this works. And eventually, you get there. Because it's physics. It's the law of, what? The law of inertia, some bullshit? An object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay in rest. It takes the most upfront work to get the ball rolling. But once you get the ball rolling, then it becomes easier, right? It just requires the most amount of brute force, persistent, continuous brute force work to get the ball rolling. Once you get the ball rolling, then you've got it. And right now, I'm about to get the fucking ball rolling. That's where I am right now, 100%. And I can feel it and I know it. You guys know it too. You can see it. I see it in the way that y'all comment section. So I appreciate the support from every one of you guys. This community is growing very fast. So like I'm telling you guys, like the ball's rolling. Like we're off the ground, baby. We're hitting the ground running. And we're doing this shit every single day. So I'm about to finish up this month tomorrow. And then I got to go on a fucking trip this weekend. I'm not trying to go on at all because I have a lot of momentum right now. Not trying to break it. But you know, it is what it is. Family vacation. It's only going to be a weekend. But I'm going to come back on Monday with another trade recap. I'm going to do one tomorrow. I'm going to try to do one Friday if I have the time for it. And I'll be back. So that's it for this one. Talk to you guys next time.